think the women's program, we've got a lot of youth, and we have there were missed opportunities as well. I'll talk about it now because I get asked every time. Our 4x2 relay strategy was a strategy we used in Beijing on paper, and we're working with a system. We knew, our girls knew they were swimming the heats. They knew that was all their role was, and we had backed in the team. We had a strategy of getting out, getting a lead, and then holding it. That didn't happen. But we broke a world record, got a bronze medal. That stuff happens, and we know. Looking back, we can sit here and say we coulda, shoulda, woulda. Everybody's a Monday quarterback, but our strategy that we went in with was to win, and it didn't happen. But our girls that swam that relay, they've copped a lot on social media, and some of those young girls are really. It's unfair. It's absolutely unfair. We back them in, and we still back them in, and I just want to say that the coaches made a decision. I made a decision, and I still back it in. Whether people agree with it or not, that's their opinion. But leave the kids out of it, because they swam their hearts out, and they got a world record and a bronze medal. And we didn't know China was going to be so good, and the Americans stood up as they always do. So that's my say on the 4x2.
Yeah, well, mate, listen, the #1 team in the world, the US, came away with 30 medals. Their coaches made some errors. They had a couple of relays where, their kids were getting killed on social media. It's
unfair to go after the athlete. It's just absolutely wrong. These people are human beings. They make mistakes. They can swim well. They're great. Doesn't mean they're great human beings when they swim well. They could be. It doesn't mean they're not great human beings when they don't swim well. And for me, I had to have conversations and assure those young ladies that we back them in, and that's why we back them in. And sometimes it doesn't go your way. That's the lessons of, as you know, Brett, very well, the Olympics is hardcore. Yep. Unless you've been in that environment, I don't think you really know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's cutthroat, and even Caleb Dressel talked about the stress that he was under. The 8 days of the games, and so
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's all there, mate. So yeah, look, I don't blame the athletes at all for that. It comes down to a race. You got to race the race. You can't just hand out medals. You got to race the race. So
I'm happy to cop the criticism for strategy, but I can tell you, we went in with a strategy, but we also went in with a strategy with the mixed medley, and it paid off because. That was our best team, and our athletes put their hands up and said, "I'll back up off of finals because we think we can win a medal." We could have rested them. They didn't want it. We knew Britain we thought Britain would win, and then we thought we could get a minor medal, and it came off, and it did. So that strategy worked. So it has swings and roundabouts, as you know.
As the head coach, do you have veto power over the decision making when it comes to the relays?
Yeah, my decisions are the final decisions. I sign off. I sign the document. We have a very thorough, long process that starts probably well before the staging camp. Staging camp, we meet and we start talking to the designated relay coach about what are you thinking? What is your strategy? What are you thinking your strategy might be, and why? And we challenge that. And as we know, as a lot of it's all about performance and things in competition. As we go through that, we invite the other coaches in to challenge that. So everybody's involved. And this is something that's evolved from times that have gone by where, people have, accused the coaches or question whether it's transparent enough, and that, it seems like decisions are made without people knowing. The next step is that the athletes are informed of the evolving strategy. We tell them as soon as we can that, sometimes a strategy like the medley relay is, listen, we're not going to know who the heat team and the final team is until we get to day 6. Be prepared. We wanted to swim a female breaststroker, for instance. We just couldn't. It just didn't add up. We couldn't take the risk, and it worked out where we didn't. And we swam our breaststroker twice. But our goal was always to try to have, because of the knowing and experiencing Beijing with morning finals being really tough. And if you look at semis off the back of the heats and even finals, like people were struggling to back up and getting home after getting home late. And, you know, if you've had, you know, the adrenaline and getting to sleep and then having to get up the next morning and trying to back up, you know, you had to think about it strategically. But back to the coaching piece, we worked through that, and the whole idea was to inform the athletes as soon as we could, so they were aware and prepared, without also at times locking yourself into things that needed to change at last minute. And you know, and there were times where it was impossible to make changes because where we were at was too late. And that's what I think. You know, an evening heats and a morning finals really does put you in that position sometimes, because it's just a little bit too late to make changes. But that's our process. It's a thorough one, but at the end of the day, when a relay is put in front of me, I say that's the one I think we go with. And mixed medley, as an example, we had one clear option, which was the one we went with, which was the best option as far as on paper. We had a second option, which would have really mixed it up a bit, but it was decent. And the third one was a no. And I said, let me go talk to the coaches and the athletes of the first option, and if they're comfortable, that's the one we're going with. And that's basically how it came down to it.
Right.